Hey family, thanks for diving back in with us. So I've had several requests to dive back into some ADHD content, and first of all, I apologize I haven't done any ADHD content. It's not that I'm ignoring it. Believe me, not that I'm ignoring it. Can't really ignore it. So we were given some interesting information recently. We go to church with a lady who is very, very kind and sat down with us, and or rather my wife, I was at work, sat down with her and had a conversation about ADHD versus sensory processing. And now we're kind of in a weird space of, okay, are we looking at more ADHD, or are we looking at sensory processing with Cora? Are we looking at a combination of both? Does one cause the other, or the other cause the other? I don't know. We haven't honestly done a ton of research yet, and we need to ask more questions and figure out how to line up our ducks here, because sensory processing, from my understanding, and ADHD can present some very similar symptoms. So that's the thing. I'd be interested to find out from any of you, is this a struggle or a challenge, whatever you want to call it, that you have bumped into with your kids or yourself or a sibling or something like that? Because if this does end up being something with sensory processing, I'm not sure what to call it yet, then we need to try some different things. But we'll see. We'll see. Life is still chaotic as ever. We really just need to get some information. We need to ask our doctor about that. Fortunately, we got connected with a new pediatrician. We found out that there's also some behavioral therapy offered at the same location. Guys, this is a big deal for us, because we, a while back, went to pursue some therapy from Seattle Children's Hospital. They offered a parental training course. It's like a 13 or 14 week course. We live about 30 to 40 minutes south of Seattle, and this is in North Seattle, so it's a little bit of a drive for us. But the only day that the course was being offered was, I think it was Tuesdays or Thursdays from 1 to 3. And that was rather frustrating to us, because we both kind of looked at each other like, apparently we don't have jobs. But we decided, that's not something that we're willing to dive into. So when we switched to this new pediatrician and found that there's some behavioral therapy right there in Auburn. Okay, we live in Federal Way. The pediatrician is in Auburn. That's like a 15-minute drive, and we schedule appointments. So that's a big deal. That's a big old deal. So we're going to be asking some questions like that. How do we kind of filter out and see if this is in fact sensory processing that she's dealing with, or ADHD, or both? So I guess let this be some food for thought today, to ask questions, do research. Don't let your own research become king of the hill, okay? We are just regular peoples who don't have all of the training needed to provide the proper wisdom. There's still a lot of really valuable information that we can glean, but we always cross-check that with professionals. So we were talking with this lady at our church, and she made the point that, sometimes if she's dealing with sensory issues, that physical need to, like, Cora had some crackers the other day, and she took them over to the table, and we thought that she was just playing with dollies, but she was actually crunching them up one by one into like a fine powder. And we, of course, asked her, please stop and clean up the mess. And as we did that, she had a cracker in her hand, and she looked at us and just like crushed it up and crumbled it onto the table. We asked her why she did that, and she just simply said, "I don't know." So when we brought that up to this lady, she said, well, you know, she might have already had the thought in her head that I'm going to crush this cracker, and just felt compelled, she had the need to finish that action and continue crumbling the cracker. So finish it. It was like a mental and a physical compulsion and a need to complete that process. So that was one of the things that she kind of said, you know, sensory processing, sometimes that's a thing. We have noticed that Cora loves to play with things like kinetic sand, and asks to play with it all the time. She loves to play with things like Play-Doh, things that are very tactile, that she can put pressure on and squish. There are also moments when we are tumbling down the emotional meltdown hill, moments where if Daddy comes in to touch or hug, she just like vehemently does not want to be hugged, does not want to be touched. But then there are times when the best thing that I can do for her is wrap her in a hug and just kind of tightly, not too tightly, but give her a tight hug and just hold her there, even if she fights me a little bit, until she kind of comes back down and breathes. I normally, almost like a mantra, like kind of whisper in her ear, "You're okay, I love you, you're safe. You're okay, I love you, you're safe," just to remind her where she is. So those are some of the things that kind of have our gears turning, that she could be dealing with some sensory stuff here, some sensory processing. So I'm looking forward to having some future conversations with you guys, but please, if you've got any experience with this, we have none. As far as sensory processing goes, we've been stacking up ideas and wisdom for ADHD for a number of years now, are not even close to having anything locked down. But with that said, if you have experience with sensory processing, we would love to hear from you. You can find me on Instagram at ThatDadZach. You can find my wife as well, and I think that she is at Sarah Jane Trandom or at Sarah Trandom. So find us, connect with us on Instagram, or leave a comment and share your thoughts, share your feels. If you've got ADHD, drop a heart in the comments. We want to know. We want to welcome you to the family. You're awesome. Thanks, you guys. This is kind of like a thought dump for me today, and I hope that it kind of generates some conversation and some thought dumping for you too. Anyway, we love you. We'll see you soon. Hey, we're launching something new called Trandom Tribe Tidbits. They're going to be like 2-minute long videos where we share some really fun family activities and other things with you guys. It's going to be cool. We'll see you soon in the next ADHD video on the Trandom Tribe. Okay, bye.